Hi guys, MrRoflWaffles here. Yesterday I did my live reaction to the Revelations Director's Cut music video. That's the music video for The Gift, which is the Easter egg song in Revelations, and I did my live reaction, as always, and I was a little bit, I guess, surprised, maybe perplexed, maybe disappointed, one of those words, about the fact that there wasn't really any inclusion of any special surprise, any secret sort of thing, any twist, any hint towards something new, anything from outside the brackets that Jason has put in place for Black Ops 3. None of that was really in there, and so I was, I guess, taken aback just a little bit. But in retrospect, watching the trailer again, and I guess thinking about the implications of certain little tidbits in there, I do think that there are a few things worth discussing. And one of those we're going to be focusing on today because I saw it getting talked about in the comments of my video, and I was like, well, if it's getting talked about in the comments and people are confused and they're asking me my opinion, then it's time for me to make a video. So today we are going to be talking about the summoning key. What I'm going to do first of all is I'm going to play the music video from 2 minutes and 15 seconds in, so you have a very clear idea of how the video ends. So, as you can see, around 2 minutes and 18 seconds in, so that's 3 seconds into the clip I just played you, we go to the shot of Richtofen walking forwards, and then the whole blood thing happens. Now, I'll talk about that in separate videos if you guys want me to, if you want explanations, or maybe some ideas about the future, or whatever. If you want, then that's fine, but for now, my focus is going to be on what happens after that, or actually during it. So, as Richtofen is taking a swig of the blood vial, you hear some footsteps. And then it cuts to a shot of the basement. Monty is walking forwards, and we see 4 of the children. That's Richtofen, Takio, Nikolai, and Dempsey, all in a line, their child versions, looking rather, I guess, hesitant, wary, worried, a little anxious maybe. They don't exactly look at ease. Now, Monty walks forward, and then it goes to a shot of his face, and he sort of goes like that, and he looks over his shoulder, he looks to his side, and what we then see is a cut to Samantha, standing away from the other children, away from Monty, looking out of a rectangular window in the basement, and outside there is a glistening ball of light. Some kind of spark of energy, of something that very much resembles the spark that is on the truck in the map itself, the super Easter egg spark, no less, that you then use to get your pack-a-punched box weapons and your katana if you want as well. So that spark is very relevant in the map, and this has a sort of very similar air to it, a very similar vibe going on with this white glowing light. Now, the fascinating thing is that this then fades into a shot of the key, and what I didn't notice in my reaction yesterday, because my screen was too grubby to really see it, is that the key isn't just on a black background here, just sort of spinning randomly. It's in space. So, what we are seeing here, and this is what I wanted to talk about and clear up and clarify and explain in this video, is that the key has not been destroyed. What do I mean by that? Well, in the Revelations ending, what happens, as we are all very much aware at this point, is that the key is opened, the children are released from it, etc. All of that happens, but most importantly, we see the key and Sophia, and by association Maxis, and a load of the Apothicon influence as well, going off into the Apothicon sun, into that big blue ball in the sky, and then they all just zoom out of existence, and that is seemingly that. But it's not, which is great, because what this sort of does is it gives us an idea of the fact that, despite the fact that Monty has tried to create this perfect world, and despite the fact that he has done everything in his power to rid the universe of the Apothicon menace that has been plaguing it and has been haunting the dreams of people like Maxis in the house for so long, despite that, he's not actually succeeded. He has failed outright, because two things have happened. First of all, the key is still in existence. As you can see, it's there, spinning around in space, so that universe that he was trying to close off and delete from existence, that shard of fractured mirror that he was hoping to smooth out, is still very much there. It's not gone away. And if the key is still around, then what's to say that the Apothicons aren't still around, or the undead, or any of the other things that he says in the Revelations end cutscene when he's like, oh yes, perfect world, great, no more Apothicons, undead, etc. Mate, yes, more Apothicons, yes, more undead, because you clearly haven't closed off that dimension properly. Also, the second thing of those two things that I wanted to mention is the characters. They are still there. They're very much still alive. They're very much still in the loop, that premise cycle. And that's the norm, and that has always been the norm. What Monty has, I guess, done here is perpetuated things. And so what he thinks he has done, or at least what he thinks outwardly he has done, we don't know if he thinks this internally, we don't know if this is part of some other greater plan of his, but outwardly what he thinks he has done is solved the problem, solved the paradox, essentially, by putting those characters back in time as premise to be worshipped, having just fought the great battle and succeeded, but then obviously the loop is perpetuated, and moreover, not only is that loop still going around, and so that battle is going to have to forever be fought, but also you've kind of still got the possibility that Apothicons are going to be there after that loop has actually finished anyway. So Monty has messed up. But is this a purposeful mess up? Is he doing this to try and, I guess, kind of impose himself on the universe a little longer? Is he doing it because he's bored and he just wants something to do? He does say that Origins was the reason that he had to step in, and so maybe he's just sort of biding his time until Origins happens again and he gets to start playing with the universe a little bit. He does say that it's scary, by all means, but what if that's a facade, a front, and there's some deeper thing going on here? Speaking of deeper things going on here, do we have any evidence for that? Is there any concrete fact we can go to and say, you know what? Maybe Monty is a nefarious character. Maybe he does have some kind of hidden agenda. Maybe, just maybe, he's not the good old ethereal, godlike British man that we think he is. Well, yes. That evidence does exist. There is a piece of evidence we can refer to, and it's the first cipher that was ever solved on Revelations by my buddy Water. It says the following. I'm going to reiterate it just because every single time I do a cipher video, people are like, Milo, give us the full cipher. Don't give us an excerpt. Give us the full thing. So here it is. The cipher is as follows. I am the last of us, but I will be joining you soon, my friends. Death is near. I hope what we have done doesn't come back to bite this universe in the arse. Thank God we will all be gone, because if Monty ever found this place, we would have been in a world of shit. Maybe now, with us all gone, the children will truly be safe. So, what this message seems to indicate is that there is an instance of reality. There is some iteration of the loop in which it is no longer a loop. It is a tied knot. The paradox is resolved and the loop is properly closed. And in that instance, when that happens, Dempsey dies last specifically out of all the other characters, so that's Richard, Takio, and Nikolai as well, all dying seemingly, and Dempsey is left to say, I am the last of us, but I'll be joining you soon, my friends. Death is near. He says, I hope what we've done doesn't bite this universe in the arse, so he is showing regret and fear that the actions of those characters may end up having implications far more negative than he could have possibly hoped and imagined. But the really interesting thing in this cipher, the thing that I want to fixate on for the rest of this video, is that he specifically says, thank God we will all be gone, because if Monty ever found this place, we would have been in a world of shit. Man, doesn't that sound like Monty might just have some rather negative stuff going on with him? Doesn't it? I mean, I've talked about it in videos in the past. I've been saying from the start that Monty's a bad guy, but specifically in the context of the fact that in the Revelations music video for The Gift, the summoning key is still there. In that same music video, just before we see the key, we see Monty pacing towards the children. The ominous footsteps sounds as he does so. And they're really ominous, like very, very much so. He's pacing towards the kids all look super frightened, Samantha's off on her ones just sort of going, the light. Whoa. And Monty is just there, being this really uneasy presence in the room. Like, he really shouldn't be there, he shouldn't be allowed anywhere near those kids, and ultimately, as Dempsey says in this cipher, maybe if the characters aren't all gone, the children will never truly be safe. Just maybe. And especially seeing as Monty has failed to close off that universe, and the key is still in existence, what's Monty planning? Now, I do want to say that it's not really any surprise, I don't think, that the key is still intact. That's what I said yesterday in the comments of my video when people were saying, Milo, the key isn't destroyed, like there's definite interest here, there's definitely something to seize upon and investigate, and I said, well, I mean, I really don't think it's much of a surprise that the key is still sort of not broken and not destroyed, because at the end of the day, it's the damn summoning key. It's the most powerful artifact in not just this universe, but any universe. And despite being left on the damn table, and despite being plunged off into a universe that supposedly no longer exists, it being still here is not a surprise to me. Because it's not going to be that easy to get rid of something so powerful and so unique. I mean,